Hi there, I'm Stephanie Owens, professional lettering artist and educational director here at The Futur, and you are watching a portfolio review that I took part of with creative director Greg Gunn to help our Futur community members land their dream clients. And if you'd like some Futur eyeballs on your portfolio, then head on over to our Accelerator program where we'll look at your portfolio, your capabilities deck, your website, and you'll get weekly coaching calls with me and Mr. Ben Burns. And now, the portfolio review.
Okay. So, Jerry Mosamek, creative director, illustration design, video. Okay. I like that, like, there's a nice little image there. It's clear who he is, what he does, how to contact him, most importantly. That's great. And then view portfolio. Okay, cool. I'm in.
Let's go.
Okay. So I think the first thing that I remember noticing, Stephanie, as we scroll, is that there are so many projects here.
I think there was 36 projects
36 total. Yeah.
Which is fine, but maybe not all at once.
Yeah. It's impressive, but overwhelming for sure. And I mean, again, I think the thumbnails need work, because I know for a fact that the work is better than what is being shown in the thumbnails. So that would be my other observation. But showing me that many projects also makes me think, like, there's no way they can all be the best, right? Like, in my mind, your portfolio should be your best at any given time, right? And it changes over time.
And it changes with who you want to talk to as well.
Yeah.
So I think that was a question we had for Jerry. And well, even though you're not here, Jerry, if you're watching the replay, like, who is this for? Think about who you really want to reach with this and cater that, just like we said to Miguel, cater this portfolio to them. And if you have multiple people that you want to reach with this, maybe categorize the work and have, category one is maybe your creative direction for film. And you can have your 3 best projects. And then maybe another one is video, and then have your 3 best projects. And then you can link to the other video projects, because I feel like the chances of someone coming to this, it's a bit overwhelming in terms of the amount of things, but they also aren't looking for you to do a logo and a video. Maybe, but most people have an idea in mind of what they are needing. And so if they need these thumbnails, these icons, I want to very easily be able to find these icons.
Yeah. I think to yes, and what Stephanie mentioned, it's like, if it's hard to know who it's for. So if it's for potential clients, I think that would completely change how we'd suggest, presenting this work. But if it's for like an agency or a studio or like an in-house kind of position, then I think all the improvement stuff talked about are valid. And it's really a problem of, like, edit, right? Editing down your absolute best. And as a creative director, I know it's hard to sort of like have a particular like style or focus, which I think is okay. So showing a breadth of work is great. But your choice of thumbnail will really help sort of make or break how that project's being perceived, and its relevancy to, like, who's looking at it, right? So yeah, I think sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say, we also talked about, for things like this where it is maybe not clear what your role was, the career, have a bit of additional context text here, like, did you do video for this, or was it creative direction, or for a film creative direction, or whatever it was specifically that you did. I like right here, you put Wow Bakery promotional video. So just giving it a little bit more context of exactly what you did for the project.
Yeah. Even like who the client was in your role. That's like a really kind of simple way to do it. Yeah.
And then we also talked about, like, for this one, we don't have any kind of, so this is like the opposite problem of Miguel. There's no context. And these are super cool.
Yeah, these are awesome.
Could I see this on like in use? Could I get a creative brief at the top? You do say who the client was. If the project is still active on USA Today, could you link to the project? Was there an art director involved? Give credit to the art director. And I would love to see all of these in a pattern all the way, like in a banner all the way across, to kind of see how they work as a set. And I think the Barbie one as well, you have a Barbie project where there's not a lot of context given as to what your role was. The work is super cool.
Yeah, this is great. Like, I like we have the client. What was your role? What was the scope of the project too? I know, like, as a creative director, sometimes you have to sort of talk about something in abstract that happens to be very big, or has a lot of steps. So, your role, scope of the work, and yeah, just like a couple sentences about the objective. What was the problem and how did you solve it? I think if you can provide that information, you're good. That's a very good place to start.
Was there anything else other than digging into, I think it was this one that we were looking at. Maybe it wasn't this one. Oh, no. I know which one it was we were looking at. And we wanted to give it was the Rangers.
Yeah. Art direction. Okay. Pursues. Okay.
So we've got the video.
Cool. Yeah. I think what we loved about this was like, there's a sort of fantastic collection of like the work that was ultimately produced, and then a lot of process stuff, which is always really cool and kind of fun to look through. But again, we're sort of missing the context, and missing what your role was in all of this and how you contributed and added value to this. Again, what was a problem? What was the solution, and how did you get there? Because this is all really great stuff. I think also, Miguel, I would say the same for you. Like, when you're creating images for a case study or something like this, like, try to format all of them consistently, like, so if they're all big and wide or 16:9, sort of leave it as that. It just kind of helps the flow of things. So when things get sort of like wide and small and like it's a little kind of funky. So and if something's really tall like this poster is really awesome, it might be better served in a mock-up versus like having a really tall thing to scroll through, because we can't really see it in its entirety because of how tall it is and short the screen is. Like,
this could be in a movie theater mock-up of like coming soon movies or something like that. So we could see the whole experience. And I think this also might be a template limitation of being on myportfolio.com. So we're also going to recommend, Jerry, that you get your own domain set up in simple Squarespace site.
We are not sponsored by Squarespace or anything.
Neither of us even use it. It's just, I have used it in the past, and I do know that it's extremely easy to use, and it looks very professional. I know you also, while I'm talking about images and Squarespace and all, moving, you said in your survey that one of the things you wanted to focus on was improving your web presence. And while we're not going to get into all of that, I do want to talk about SEO for a second. So when you are on a platform like this, Greg filled me in that it's going to change. Is that correct? It's going to change the file name to a number for you automatically, Greg?
Yeah, Jerry, we're assuming you didn't label your file this. So I'm guessing it probably auto-changed it when you uploaded it. But yeah, if you can name it what it is, like Jerry Mosamak, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, creative director, project name, it's just like more SEO kind of stuff that always helps.
And that's going to help with your web presence. I know we have gotten work from being found on a Google search. So it's never bad to think about those things. And since we want you to move platforms anyway, it's just another bonus of why you should be moving platforms. Your website will look, your work will look more presentable to a client, and you'll also get that, as I like to call it, Google glitter. Spread the Google glitter all over the website. Did you want to show a project that you thought could be good inspiration for how to show a creative direction like this? Yeah.
So, Jerry, we found this website. It's from another creative director, and I'd seen this before, and I saw all the swords and stuff, and I was like, oh man, I've seen a case study that was really great. That was similar in look to this, and so we tracked it down. And so I think this is a really nice sort of parallel to maybe what you could do. So you can clearly see like client Warner Brothers Games, brief description of what it is, and then it sort of just gets into the work. And as we kind of scroll through, there's like little bits of context that's provided. And like I said, as a creative director, it's kind of like the scope can oftentimes be very big. And so it's all about kind of telling a story, right? As you go through. And I think, in this case, this creative director does a really great job of doing that, of, sharing the process and the sort of story of how this project was conceived, the problems they ran into, and ultimately what the outcome was. I thought this was really great. This is like a cool mock-up. It's actually like maybe, I don't know if it's a video or like GIF or something, but it's like just the fact that it moves makes it more interesting too. And since this was a more video-based project, I think that makes sense.
Short and sweet sentences. I mean, Look at this is 3 sentences, but it's still super concise and small. Yes. Like, don't write 3 rambling sentences. No. Keep it two lines. If you can give me 2 lines, then I'm more likely to read it.
And then they also included this whole behind the scenes section. And you can see they cropped everything so it's the same sort of frame size. So as you scroll down, it kind of feels like it all belongs together too, which I think is cool.
And going back to what you said about a neutral background, like it's not white, but it works, and it will work with every project. There will be no clashing of what is this, creamy?
Yeah, it won't
else.
Distract. I think that's the goal, right?
Yeah,
you want it to sort of just fade into the background a bit. And I want to say, he had some credits at the bottom too.
Yes,
right?
He does.
Okay, so there's links to press, which is awesome, and then agency credits, which this is a massive project.
Go on forever.
I put credits on all my work. This is like next level. You don't have to go this nuts, but I think like, especially if you're a creative director, part of your job is, propping up your team. And that also helps with, selling yourself as a leader, is, who your team was made of, like, and how you all work together and sort of foster that collaborative nature. So I think the work is great. There's an edit process that needs to happen. And I think a little bit of context for how to go with how you're presenting the work. Working on the thumbnails a little bit. And some of the other kind of presentation suggestions we had from Miguel about like, how to present your work in a mock-up, or, just kind of like frame it in a more pleasing way.
I would also, for this one in particular, Greg, because he's looking for clients, I would put some sort of call to action at the bottom of it. That's like,
was he looking for clients?
I think he was looking for clients, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he specified, actually. So if you're looking for clients, I would definitely put a CTA button. And we did recommend that you have a contact page, even though you do put it on your homepage and you do put your contact information on your about page. People forget, and they want to easily be able to, like, if I'm here and I'm like, okay, well, how do I get a hold of you? And I don't see a contact button. It's just easy. Just put a little contact button with your details.
Yeah. Make it easy.
Yeah. Super easy.